Hi, welcome back. This is Arabian Horse Times on the Road. I'm Scott Benjamin, and it is my pleasure this morning to be here with David Freedman of Freedman Fine Harness and Saddlery. Welcome, David.
Thank you.
It's a number one. We appreciate your support of the live feed here at the U.S. Nationals, and as always, it's a treat to be sitting here amongst these amazing products. Freedman's is a name that's synonymous with quality and craftsmanship for nearly 200 years now. Tell us a little bit about the history of Freedman's and how this started back in Eastern Europe and made its way to Canada, two places near and dear to my heart, Poland and Canada.
Thank you. Thank you. My grandfather, I don't have a lot of history from the Polish side, but my grandfather came from Poland in 1910 to Toronto, solo. And, yeah, amazing. People would just pick up and go and jump on a boat and float over, and made his way up to Toronto from Ellis, actually, from New York City. And made roots in Toronto, and there my father was born in 26. And in 1936, at the ripe old age of 10, he didn't want to go to school anymore. So at that point, you either worked or you went to school. So he started in the business, and I guess he never really looked back. He had a skill and a knack for harness making, saddle making. He had a true passion for horses, and at that point, horses were coming off the road, so it didn't really show a lot of promise to a young potential entrepreneur or harness maker or saddle maker. There was a gentleman that worked for my grandfather. His name was Eddie Godfrey, and Eddie had worked in the Chicago stockyards, had some family outside of Toronto in a little town called Bob Cajun, and he'd worked for my grandfather for 25 years along that timeline. And he would be the man that taught my father about Hackney harness, American saddlebred harness, fine harness, carriage harness. My grandfather primarily built dray harness, street harness, delivery harness for, for dairies, for bakeries, bread wagons, etc. And my father grew up in that era and just saw a lot. He also grew up in an interesting time as these harness makers were passing away and not being taken over by other trades. He got willed a lot of tools from a lot of downtown harness makers, and ended up with a huge array of harness making tools and equipment, and that sort of set him on his path.
That's incredible. That's an amazing transition from the time of the horse being essential to everyone's life to something that was really a luxury in the end. So how did you come into this, David? Was it a natural fit for you?
I think that it was a natural fit, made by some resistance by both my parents. My late brother was a professional. He's a lawyer. My sister's a nurse. I think all parents want to raise, academics and people that go on to be professionals in their lives. And, whether I got horse bite or what it was at the age of 13, 14, I wanted to go to horse shows. They were traveling to carriage driving shows and to Devon and to different shows across America. And I wanted to go with them. And I sort of whittled my way or eased my way into it very slowly. And at 18, I decided that I didn't want to continue any further with my education as a university, so I jumped into the business.
No regrets?
No regrets. Fortunately, I got 9 years under my father before he passed away. That's a long apprenticeship, and it probably wouldn't have been done at 9 years if he wouldn't have passed away. And a lot of lessons learned, whether it was on the business acumen side or how to run a business, how to handle people, how to treat people, along with all the tricks of the trade of what to build, how to build it, what fits what type of horse. He was just a wealth of knowledge for a guy with a grade 6 education.
That's an incredible gift for you, truly.
Lucky.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lucky. Big shoes to fill at that point. And, 18 years old coming into the business is one thing. 27, and he passed on after 9 years when I was 27 years old. And you're still kind of naive and not in the sharpest of places in life, and luckily I was unconscious enough to continue the business, because now when I look back at it, I go, what was I thinking? It's a difficult reputation to take over. I don't know anybody at that point in my life that said they were best at what they did in the world, and at that point he was.
In their late 20s, yeah, for sure. That's an amazing story.
Thank you.
So tell us about some of the new products that you've got to show us here today.
New products this year we've been working on for this market is we've had sort of a return back to a classic design that we started for show hack 6 years ago, where we felt that these show hack horses were not in a dressage frame; they were more in an English frame, and we wanted to build an English saddle that was reflective of the show hack style and design, along with that that type of look and feel. So we built a cutback saddle that resembles sort of a dressage saddle. Very popular, very comfortable, and helps keep those horses in that frame. And the dressage frame, those horses are round over the back and really not in what we would call an English frame. So sometimes the equipment is contradictory to what we're trying to achieve exactly in that discipline. So this saddle's been quite popular, and we're excited to show it here at Nationals and have it used. So it's been really fun.
That's good. So has it been a good seller?
It has been.
Yeah.
It has been. We did take a little bit of a sidebar a couple of years ago. I spent some time trying to design a cutback sort of dressage tree that wasn't 4 inches cut back, because that's what these horses really need.
Yeah.
And I managed to get the tree pulled to 2 3/4 inches, but as a dressage saddle, it still didn't hit the market and the flavor that they were looking for. They were still looking for this English movement and this English feel. And especially in rider setup, and having riders set up correctly for posting and for riding in that frame. So this has done a much better job for us.
Well, that's fantastic. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Need for the market and meets the market right where it is.
Hopefully, yeah. So it's been fun.
Good.
It's been neat. The other thing we've been working on this year is we're continuing work on our Arabian show halter market, cable halter market, and leads. We've had a lot of good feedback, a lot of good testing in the last 12 to 18 months, and now we've finally launched our concho, which is a new specialty concho that has farm logo or monogram on it, and a new clip system that is allowable to adjust on the fly and stay in place when you need it to stay in place. So we've done some nice testing with this as well, and we're excited to show it to the market also.
Thank you. So I've got a question for you. How long has Freedman's been here as a commercial exhibitor at the U.S. National Championships?
That's a good question. I think we might be in our 9th or 10th year.
Okay.
I think so. Something like that. I think it's our 10th year.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it.
So now more than a staple, for sure.
For
at
sure.
The show.
For sure. We like it. We, my wife, Arabian horses are near and dear to my wife, and she's bred a bunch of half Arabs over the years. And she's off showing some dogs today, so she won't be with us today. But we have a good background with Arabian horses and harness, and I have a lot of good friends in this group and in this discipline. And we've just enjoyed being around this type of horse. We are fans of the show horse industry, so we're not only supplying, making, whether it's apparel or leather equipment or harness, we like to see the best of the best in these breeds. And being a fan affords us the time and the pleasure of seeing some of the best show horses of all times.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that brings us a lot of pleasure and creates a lot of value for us, and also some thinking around new products. So
well, it's a fantastic perk, and it's more than just harness and saddlery, isn't it? It's fine leather goods, which we can see here on the shelves, which are absolutely amazing. I was admiring those handbags earlier. That's exquisite craftsmanship.
Thank you.
Are those good sellers for you?
They are.
Yeah.
It's an extension of some part of the business that I came into after I think it was 3 years of apprenticing under my father. I asked him, I want to say in 85 or 86, hey, what didn't you accomplish in your career that you always wanted to do? I always wanted to do bags and belts. So I sort of went down that road. Also some demand from some of our clients asking for that type of product. They're traveling, they want travel bags, they want nice handbags, they want, I guess, leather goods that are equal to the quality that they're used to buying from us or purchasing from us on the horse side of things. And that sort of 6 years ago forced us to look at potentially the apparel market as being a serious market. And we started to test and develop a ladies' riding jod. Yeah. And that's turned into one of the biggest sellers we have had in our business by numbers ever. And it's been an interesting journey. A lot of testing. Luckily, my wife gets to test these things every day, so I'm going to hear about the good, the bad, and the ugly of this apparel. And
built-in testing.
Built-in testing, and it's been great. We have the same with horses as well. We have enough horses on the farm to test all products.
Well, David, I want to thank you again for your support of the live feed, for spending some time with us this morning, and for continuing to support the equine industry across all breeds as well as you do.
Thank you very much.
It's a privilege to speak with you, and it's a privilege to sit down and share this experience. So
appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Take care.